Okay, so in this last section of the whole paper space, model space debate, if you like, in this section we're going to look at plotting from paper space layout. So this is like the final thing you would do in the whole sequence of events. So hopefully it kind of all sort of finally becomes clear here after this section. So we'll start off by creating a new drawing using the border template, like the drawing suggests. So it's new, and we're looking for my documents, and in here now we've got a 2- border. So make sure you start a new drawing using the border template. Click on open. Leave that open. So if I just flick over to the layout 1, you'll see it's already got a sheet in there ready for me to pop in. And if you notice as well, if I double click here, it's already got a viewport in there already, and it's actually even on the layer PSV port, so it's kind of set up for me ready to go, like typically it would. So if I pop in here to model space, we've actually nothing on the screen just yet, so let's just insert the drawing we need to lay out, and it's 2- offices. So if I go insert I for insert, or insert block, or insert lots of different ways, and I'll go browse for the drawing. So the drawing I'm looking for is that one there, 2- offices, a little preview. Click on open, and I'm going to insert to that 0, 0, 0, so we'll insert it at that 0 point at a scale of 1, and I'll just click OK to that. So that's my drawing in model space, positioned in and all. Pop across to layout space now, and we don't just see it yet in this viewport, but if I double left click on the viewport to activate it, I'm now in model space, and then double click on the wheel to zoom extents, or Z return, E return, zoom extents. It gets my drawing on view, so I can kind of see that everything's going well so far. I'll double left click outside again, just because I need to now resize this viewport. If you look at the target drawing in figure 03, the preview there of what we're going to finish up with, we can see we're looking for a view of this off to the left hand side. So if I resize this, and before I kind of do that, I like to kind of make sure you've got object snap turned off. I'll turn ortho off as well, and maybe tracking as well. You know, turn them off just so it doesn't actually interfere with anything, so it doesn't. So on left click, it's not snapping to something, because remember, it's not overly critical the position of this. The main thing is that I get the whole thing fitting in, so kind of approximately the size of the viewport is just to there. Now you'll notice that in moving over my viewport, I'm actually just cutting off, because remember, a viewport, it's just a window looking into model space, and it's basically like pulling the curtains on that a little bit. So if you imagine drawing your curtains at home, you don't want to see that. It goes in them. The only thing about this one is we can actually pan that and bring it in, or if I do again a double click to zoom extents, and it fills that little viewport with the size of the drawing. Now if I pop down here, you'll see it's not any particular scale. I need to set it at some decent size scale, and again if I kind of check out 1 to 100, you'll see that that's a little bit too much. So the scale I'm actually looking for is 1 to 150 is the size I'm looking for in the book. Not really not a standard scale, but this is what they're looking for anyway. But we can create a little custom scale here by left clicking on this little custom button. Up comes my edit scale list, and I can add in a little bit. So name appearing in scale list is 1 to 150, and drawing is 1 to 150. Now you'll notice I put in 1 to 150, and I think this is going to ask me for a different size. Well, it's actually asking me to rename this to offices. So I'm going to kind of keep it 1 to 150, because I'm not a great fan of naming these different other than the actual scale, because you know, if somebody else is coming in, popping into your system and using it, they won't necessarily know that offices is 1 to 150. So it's nicer if they kind of see the actual scale, so they can pick it from the list. So you can see we've got our scale up here, and then it's just a matter of moving down the list keep it in order, move it down until it goes past the 100, and you got a 1 to 150, which gives you 1 paper unit is equal to 150 drawing units. Now click on OK to that, and we can then use our 1 to 150 scale and get that sized properly. Then we can lock that while we're there. If we don't lock it, remember, if I kind of move my mouse at all, it kind of goes astray on me. So 1 to 150, lock it just to lock home that. Now when I move my mouse, even if I'm in there, I can come in and edit this, and I have no fear of the scale changing on me. Okay, now we have another couple of viewports to do. So we're going to have actually a zoomed in area of this room here, the room 2228. I just zoom in just to see that this draws the same. Yeah, if you kind of notice the other telephones, if you zoomed into them, there's actually no numbers on them. So again, we're going to zoom into the telephone here. That's the only one with numbers on it. So make sure you zoom into the correct one. If you wondered why there are no numbers appearing, there's actually only one phone in this drawing with the actual numbers on the phone. So we're zooming into this office and then this phone, okay, for the other two viewports. So creating the viewports, they're just single rectangular viewports, and basically just popping in my viewports there and there. And don't forget to put them on the right layer. So the layer paste viewports, so I turn them off. I get rid of my border around that. So zoom into here, and up I come, and that's one viewport in there. And you can see if you're kind of trying to judge, okay, the book gives you that this is 1 to 50. If you're trying to judge yourself in sort of real world situation, what scale to make this, if you look here, it's 0.0169, so kind of round that up as 0.02, which is 1/50th, so tens, hundreds, so 0.02 is 1/50th, so it'll give you a kind of good idea as to what scale you're gonna you could actually get this one to go to. So maybe 1 to 50 gives me that. And again, lock the viewport, and what I'll do is I'll come back out into Paperspace and just resize it. You see the little tails hanging around here, and just push that back, minimize it as much as I can, but kind of keeping all the detail in there. So I hit skip, and that's that viewport setup. And I'm not worried that these aren't just exactly in line, because they're just two enlarged views. So down here to this one, double click to activate the viewport, and go into Paperspace, and then don't forget, zoom into the correct phone, and that's my phone. And I wouldn't spend sort of too much time fiddling around like that, you know, just kind of zoom closely there. In this case it's 1 to 5. Happy bunnies, just pan it in, lock the viewport, double click out here, and then just resize it. And you'll see, I mean, if you try putting on the ortho and the snap, you'll see that it's much easier if you knock both of those off when you're resizing these viewports. So pop out again there, and finally then I can kind of just have a look at my turning off my viewports instead of freezing them. Remember, turn them off, and that looks fine, and that's my viewports in place.